say, kids, what time is it?
The future is coming on, it's coming on, it's coming on, it's coming on, it's coming on.
Hey, kids, we're here. Now we're here. What do we do? Finally.
That was an awful lot of startups.
You have no idea.
Yeah.
The stuff behind the scenes just to get here.
We keep
goodness.
finagling and adding things to the mix and trying to make it better.
Yeah. And at least this is a simulated real time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
at
pretty
least.
good. Yeah, at least. Yeah, it sort of feels real to us.
So hi, Bobby.
Yeah, hi, Bobby. Welcome to the show.
Yay.
You have nice weather there in San Francisco, too?
It's a little overcast. I got some rain last night. That
Yeah,
was
us
interesting.
too. It really causes my generator to backfire. A little bit of rain, it won't start until a couple of pulls, and then it pulls back at me. You know, you ever have that happen on a
It kicks back.
kickback? Yeah, like a nasty. You could pull your joints out if you're not careful. Good training, these machines.
Yeah.
Anyway, how's your week going? Pretty good.
Hey, it was great to see you, Taylor, and Adam at the
Yeah.
restaurant.
Yeah, that was wonderful. Thanks for being there. Yeah, our dear friend Taylor used to do our Apple shows all the time.
Yeah.
Had a stroke and has been kind of debilitated, and finally was able to get out to a restaurant in a wheelchair
With his son
and
and
his 24-hour
his
care.
amazing caregiver, Brittany. We met her for the first time, and she is just a love being. What a lucky man
Isn't
he
she?
is.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
wonderful. The
Yeah.
perfect helper for.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
yeah, it's a fun relationship. If I was an old man, I would like to have a girl like that. That'd be awesome. I got a better
Yeah.
actual
How
wife.
do I
you know.
respond to that? Are you an
If I
old
was
man?
alone.
If you were an old man,
If I
and
were-
where would I be?
If I were, and I was by myself, and I didn't have anybody, and I was lonely.
You got to be careful what
And
you
I-
wish for,
and I
honey. I
needed-
might be listening. You
and
know?
I needed help to get a soda.
Look what I have to put up with.
You know what I mean? I was anyway.
Just wait.
Just, no.
Actually, now that you mention it, thanks, Bobby. What a good idea, Al. I think when you're an old man, I'm out of here.
Well, I think
You're gonna have a robot by then. I'll give you like a lovely little sun mask with a smile.
Yeah.
And you and your robot can take care of the business.
I want my robot to have your personality, though.
Oh, good luck with
I
that.
really-
I think I'm one of a kind.
Yeah, I can't clone you. Can't put you,
You
in my
can try.
robot. Yeah,
You can try, but
find a robot
it's
that.
not a clone, and the original are
No.
different versions.
No, I said I like you. I'll clone you.
Okay.
I
Okay.
can handle that. I don't mind if there's other copies of you around.
Oh,
You have a
well.
lot to share. I know people really enjoy hanging out with you, son. And I can appreciate that because they look at me and said, "You're a lucky guy."
Well, I
Thanks.
think we're all lucky.
Yeah.
We're pretty lucky to have
Yeah.
the sweethearts
But
in
to
our
be able
lives
to
that we have.
share the love, really, it makes the smile spread.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's
Yeah.
just hanging out.
Sure.
But you got a point about the robots, though. I think if they could just hang out with us and really enjoy what they're doing and help us enjoy our life better, why not?
Yeah, why not?
Especially they're designed to do the work. As a matter of fact, the Japanese are tuned into that. This week, I have a nice piece on how humanoid robots are being used as baggage handlers in Japan.
Oh,
A new experiment by Japan Airlines. Yeah,
cool.
here's a robot being a baggage handler.
It seems like they would be better at taking care of your luggage and not throwing it. Like I used to. And sometimes my baggage
Maybe.
comes like what's in it is all scrambled up, and they just like tossed it like 10 feet.
Oh well,
I think it depends on how they're
Cargo.
trained. Like if they watch some gorilla commercial, loading luggage, and then that's how they learn to handle it, it could be a problem.
it could be. Yeah, I think it's an ideal job for the robots. I mean, luggage is designed for humans to throw around, and they could do it delicately. They could be faster than us.
I don't know that they're going to use humanoid robots in that particular application. Just saying.
Yeah, okay. They say it's they were pushing cargo pushing cargo onto a conveyor belt. And they say that the Japanese baggage handlers are extra conscientious to begin with. I think it's a good place to train them. If they have extra conscientious humans doing the job and the robots are watching that, then they'll learn how to be conscientious. Right?
Sure.
They probably have barcode scanners so that they can instantly see that your baggage isn't going to end up in the wrong city.
Yeah, I would hope so. Yeah, built in.
let's hope so.
They could cut down on the mistakes that the baggage claims actually happen. Well, Japan is struggling to cope with a surge in tourism lately.
I can see why.
So
From
they
my
definitely need more
recent
baggage
tourism
handlers.
in Japan,
Yeah.
I would love to go back again and explore more.
The other thing is that it's an aging population, so there's less people that want to be baggage handlers. That's a perfect storm for robots to take over.
Yeah. Yeah, if we-
This robot looks pretty tall. I mean, he's taller than the regular Japanese people, which are short. I don't know if you've been in Japan, but
They're
most
shorter.
people are shorter than I am, and I'm pretty short. It's-
Yeah. Well, it's 130
thought-
centimeters.
Yeah, I think that the average height for the robots that I've seen demoed are between about 5'1" and 5'9". You know,
Right.
so
But this looks like 6 or 7 foot tall.
130
You
centimeters.
can see the guy in the background.
Let's say, Ira,
And then-
how tall is 130 centimeters in inches and feet?
130 centimeters is just under 4'3". That's about 51 inches, roughly the height of a 10-year-old kid.
Okay.
No,
well,
but this robot here is
the
he looks
picture is
pretty
showing a
tall
big
in the
guy, huh?
picture.
Okay. Well.
show the picture. Put it in the middle of the screen. There we
Okay.
go.
There you go. All right. I don't know,
So-
Bobby. That's an anomaly. It's 130.
I mean, look at the person in the background. He's stooping over, but
Yeah.
that robot looks pretty tall.
Well, I think that's just a perspective thing. I think that's just the distance. I don't think that they're on the same plane.
Well, I can imagine they'll be able to have different heights, but it says in the demonstration for the media, the one that they demonstrated in front of the cameras was a 130 centimeter tall robot. And it was, I guess it's not this picture because it was pushing cargo onto a conveyor belt. It says it was waving to a person. Wait a minute. It is waving, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
well, the
so
mystery
51
deepens.
inches, that's 4 feet, 3 inches.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
So,
short.
4'3". About is that the size of most Japanese people, or
10-year-olds.
It's a little. Oh, sorry, it's a little bigger.
It's
well,
an
my
optical
mother
illusion.
Was 4'11", I think, or 4'10".
4'11", and that was tall.
Yeah.
I had an aunt who was 4'11", and we thought she was short.
Yeah, well,
thought
it's,
she was
it's a
pretty
relative
petite.
thing. It's a very relative thing. But the important thing is that they were using the robots for physically demanding work that is considered one of the least favorite jobs. It's probably the ones in which there are most number of chiropractors involved.
Absolutely.
To
So
help
many
people,
people who should not be lifting heavy things have those kinds of manual jobs.
Yeah.
Human beings, our backs are not really ideal for being heavy lifters.
No, we should lift what feels good for us, not burden ourselves to the point of needing to see doctors.
Yeah. It'd be better if we could all work on our back muscles doing things like pole dancing or doing acrobatics with the rings or things
Right.
like that, where you have to
Exactly.
develop strength and gymnastic skills, but you're not really injuring yourself through carrying too much weight.
No.
Yeah, I'm just recovering from a back injury because I was lifting these timbers with a helper, and they must be 80 pounds at each end. I
How
don't know.
long? How long ago did you hurt
and-
yourself?
This was about a month ago, and so my back hasn't been the same. So I'm hanging upside down, and that helps.
Oh, gravity
Hanging, yeah,
boots.
that's good.
Good for you.
Fun with gravity. Yeah.
Yeah, that is. That's nice.
Well, it looks like because Japan is shrinking in population, they're going to need 6.5 million new foreign workers by 2040 to reach growth targets. 6.5 million. So that's a good number of robots.
If you think they're all going to be robots,
Well, I think so.
you don't
because-
think some of them are going to be
look,
young kids?
No, Japan is not like us. The Japanese are not big into having immigration.
Yeah, they're not.
Right. That's not a thing of their culture. They like to keep it indigenous, if you will.
Sure.
So robots make sense, especially if the local crew are making them. Is close because it says the Chinese robot was what was being demonstrated. And so it begs the question, what is the relationship of the Japanese with the Chinese at this point in time?
Well, let's put out the thought form that everybody is cultivating the golden age of peace that is in front of us.
That they see a prosperous relationship for all in the future. The abundance economy is.
Right. And of course, those people aren't making the headlines, but I like to believe they're in the majority, and eventually they'll be steering the ship again.
Yeah. Okay, well, these robots for the airlines can operate for 2 to 3 hours before they need a battery change.
So they do need coffee breaks.
They need to have another robot running around changing all the batteries.
Well, they have to have a shift. You'll have the recharge shift. You'll have the ones that are sitting on the battery chargers while the other ones are working, and then they'll change places, right? They'll be doing
They could be
staggered
chargers,
shifts.
Chargees or chargers.
Right. I wonder how long it takes to change the batteries.
I don't know. It might be complicated. It might require a human. Maybe that's the one job humans would have in the luggage department was just changing the batteries of the workers.
Very silly.
It'd be a funny scene. It'd be a funny scene.
Can you imagine the job interview? How good are you at putting these batteries into this robot?
I can change batteries faster than a panda can
Throw a suitcase.
throw a suitcase. Faster than a gorilla can.
I think you're going to have fun with that one.
Yeah, okay. There was another interesting robot story I saw after I read this one, and it was about a robot that was too heavy to be put in the baggage compartment. It was a humanoid robot.
Really? What's the weight limit?
100 pounds.
It's
100 pounds apparently for luggage. For overweight luggage. I guess normal luggage is 50 pounds.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a little over 100. So they really needed to get the robot down to a conference. So the human owners, paid for a real ticket for the humanoid robot to sit in a seat.
That must have been hilarious. I would have liked to interview the people on the aisle seat.
Right. Well, yeah, they were able to get him on the plane. He was able to do all kinds of pirouettes and dances for the people. People were enamored with the robot.
How fun.
And
bet they wore out his batteries.
Well, that's the thing was the batteries. And it wasn't that they were wearing them out. It was that the battery was over weight limit for carrying lithium batteries on board an aircraft.
So he couldn't get on because his lithium batteries
sadly,
were too big?
No, he got a ride. They've got him in his seat, and they pulled his battery, and they had to ship the battery.
Hilarious. Wow. You may board the plane. Now we'll remove your battery.
Yeah. The robot
That's some pretty serious restrictions, man.
Yeah. But
I don't think people would put up with that if it was reversed.
But would you mind sitting next to an inactive humanoid robot?
Well, it would depend on if it was like trying to take a nap on my shoulder. It could be really uncomfortable if it was flopping around.
What I saw on robots this week was this robot factory, a humanoid factory.
Oh, that's
the robot is called Neo. You can place orders. You can place a $200 order right now. If it's a $20,000 robot.
I walked into this factory expecting to be impressed by the humanoids. But what I was not expecting to find was one quietly sorting parts in the corner of the same building where it was made. Okay, so that's Neo, and it's working in its own factory. And that kind of detail broke my brain for the rest of the day.
Okay.
But they're delivering like in a few months here. And you can place the order for $200 or rent it for $500 a month or purchase it for $20,000. This would be the perfect caretaker. Yeah. I'm sure they're going to have something very similar to this in Japan that can do, exactly what this thing can do. They can afford $20,000 a person that could help you do your house chores or anything you want.
Yeah. So it's a house robot. That's a house robot, right? Yeah. Well, that's interesting because a lot of folks think that the house robots have got to be one of the more toughest markets for them to break, much harder than the factories, because so many unusual things can happen in the home. But I think you're right. I think that's where it's going. There's a big piece this week on why Tesla believes they're going to be selling 1 million humanoid robots a year.
Yes.
A year.
That's gonna happen
1 million
too.
a year.
Yeah.
This is up on the level of automobiles.
Yes.
Will they really be that popular at $20,000 a pop? At least Tesla thinks so, because they're replacing the Model S and the Model X lines for cars in the Fremont factory just to create these robots. So they think it's a real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, are you going to buy one?
So
I guess you will. I mean, son will. It's one, right?
Yeah.
Probably replace me after today.
You're irreplaceable, honey.
Yeah.
But, I can always come up with new things to do with a robot.
Yeah, you can give them things to do.
Yeah.
Some people are really good at that. They come up with stuff to do all the time. Other people,
Right.
are doers. I have to do all those things, and others are like just watch and amusement.
No, yeah. I mean, it could do all your house chores and start the generator when the sun's not shining.
Yeah,
I like to think so.
yeah, yeah. And with an exoskeleton, I could put it in exercise mode. It'll move my body, and I can watch TV while I exercise.
Yeah.
Yeah, a brave new future, huh? Of course, we're just kidding. I don't know. I'd like to have a robot just to see. But as to whether or not they're going to sell 1 million a year, I hope so. I hope that happens, because
Pretty likely.
it could liberate our species from slavery once and for all,
Here, here.
You're right. I mean, how many people have been
Of course,
enslaved to others?
slavery is an attitude, right?
Well,
slavery is just the way that people treat each other.
And if you need slaves, there's nothing like them. I think it's,
See, I don't
it's
like
a way of getting
to-
things done. I mean,
They were having this stupid conversation
no,
again.
I'm just saying that we're getting beyond that, because we have dreams of getting a lot of things done, and usually it involves people.
And
If it doesn't
often it
involve-
involves
and often
free
hurt-
will,
yeah, and free
and
will, right.
agreements and incentives
Yes.
and rewards. And, I could get into a much more exciting conversation if you weren't constantly dragging us around the slavery
What
issue.
makes it so great? To be liberate from that finally would be huge. If humanity was not enslaving itself, we might actually go somewhere.
Yeah, well, let's embrace the attitude that we're not enslaving ourselves, and have those of us who sort of treat each other like they're the slaves stop doing that.
Okay, let's spiral up. Yeah, that's where I'm coming from. That's right. There's
Glad to hear
something
it.
be better. Yeah. Well,
I prefer to think of the kind of service that is graciously and altruistically given as a form of devotion, as a form of love, and it really pushes my buttons when the person receiving it becomes entitled and it takes it for granted and starts acting like the person doesn't have free will or choice, and then starts treating them like a slave.
that's a cautionary tale that you want to avoid.
Absolutely.
All right, I'll avoid that one. I believe in Elon's vision of superabundance for everyone. He was just saying the other day, you can have whatever you want. Can you imagine a world where everybody gets what they want?
The AI and robots are going to make so much stuff and provide so many services that they will actually run out of things to do for the humans. They'll just run out of things to do for the humans. And then there's only so much that humans can even express that they want. So you go back to my example of if you go 1 million times greater than the Earth's economy, you've long since saturated all human desire. Even if you go 1,000 times more than our current economy, 1,000 times, you probably have already saturated anything people can think of that they want.
Yeah, I actually commented
Everybody.
on one of Elon's posts just today about the way to incentivize a new world economy that would be more fair to people and yet would have the benefits of entrepreneurs and managers and merchants and people who just wanted to be consumers and not have to go into the authoritarianism of the governments reallocating resources, right? We really do have a lot of room for a new kind of economy that isn't just rewarding the most active or the most self-interested.
rows the boat for us all. Excuse me.
Rows the boat for us all.
Row
Oh,
the
yeah,
boat.
I like that.
Row
It
the
will
boat for us
smell
all.
better.
Row the boat for us all, I say.
Tell the robots that.
Robots,
Hey, robots,
row the boat. Row the boat.
for us all.
We like to watch.
Woohoo! Best ride ever!
To the robots, cheers!
This is incredible! Keep rowing! Party on the boat, yeah!
There is a very big robot story this week. A robot that probably many of you know and love. The Roomba.
The
Roomba,
You're
right?
going to show us a Roomba.
One of the co-founders of Roomba unveiled a new venture, a company called Familiar Machines and Magic.
Okay. So that's on the Newswire, I see. PR Newswire.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're promulgating a new kind of AI. They call it a physical AI. Physical AI. And it's a category of artificial life. It's
So
like,
Roomba. So it is.
Yeah.
It is a little robot. Like we have a little robot over there.
This is more like having
It looks like a stuffed animal that'll do yoga with you.
a smart
Yeah,
stuffed
that's
animal.
right,
Yeah, a little cutesy toy that you can play with and the kids love and cuddle with but it talks, it walks, it makes comments.
FMNM uses the term familiars to describe emotionally intelligent, physically embodied AI systems that perceive their environment, develop a distinct personality, and respond in ways that learn and evolve through life with people and creatures around them.
Because it's magic, they're not going to call it an animal. Because it's not. It's a machine. It's an AI. It's a physically embodied AI.
Oh.
So they're calling it
An
a
animal.
magical term. They're calling it
Animal.
a familiar.
Oh, a familiar.
A familiar, yeah.
Okay. That
So
means
they
it's
have
a creature that knows how to predict what you're going to want.
Oh, this is an example of it doing yoga with you,
Cute.
stretching its body,
That's
doing
a
yoga.
very compelling image.
Does it talk?
Yes, yes. It talks. It walks. It listens to you. It responds to you like any good AI these days,
Okay.
and it's oriented towards being friendly and educational.
It's a companion.
Companion, yeah, companion, right? Which is exactly what some people are very afraid of.
Well, other people are very much looking forward to it.
I Sing the Body Electric, a familiar that helps read fairy tales to your kids.
I don't know if I was a parent that I'd want to surrender that particular job to the robots. That sounds like fun to me.
Well, parents often need a better babysitter.
They do. I mean, everybody needs a break, but
Yeah.
in this era, children are rare compared to in the past. And most people at least in our neck of the woods, our part of the world, are professional parents because otherwise they've gone the route of career and they haven't had kids. And there's a real art to parenting that didn't exist in the past.
Yeah, perhaps so. But I think that the whole world of being a nanny, I think robot nannies make a lot of sense. And though I think they're right in starting with the robots being cutesy toys for the kids, like a Dakin plush animal
Well,
toy.
in terms of what the future, sci-fi has given us a lot of precedence of this, that the way that the robot
Blade Runner.
business bleeds into the home is by starting with the child and giving them a robot. Was it AI? The child robot was introduced into a home because the parents had lost a son, thought they were going to lose a son. And when the son came back and that son became rival with the child robot. Remember that? That was a big part of the movie.
Yeah, that's why he got kicked out.
And why he was so confused because he was not as entitled to love as the real kid.
So he had to go out in the big bad world and face reality and learn about things.
And learn about all the ways that when you're not cared for, the world is against you.
Right. This reminds me of Toy Story a little bit too, because Toy Story was ahead of the game in that all the toys were little sentient little robots. You know, from the dinosaur to
Woody the cowboy, and
right.
Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah, exactly. And naturally, I'm sure Hasbro and all the other toy companies are going to jump on and making their archetypal toys more popular. You know, I highly recommend checking it out.
Yeah, good time to mention, we still post all the links that we're talking about on the show on our good old archive site called drfutureshow.com links page. So drfutureshow.com is still kicking after all these years.
A lot of people are bonding with their chatbots.
Right.
And this may not be a good thing in the long run. I mean, what does it mean in terms of human behavior if somebody is spending countless hours talking to a chatbot?
Yeah,
You know?
good question.
You know? And so a new study sort of looking at the psychology of this, these chatbots are much more likely to agree with somebody's delusional ideas.
That was a very interesting article that really isolated which particular models seem to be more likely to exaggerate or exacerbate the tendency for psychosis in the people. Because not all of them do, but there were a few that were studied.
Yeah, AI psychosis, they call it, where people enter into what they call delusional spirals while interacting with chatbots like ChatGPT. They were looking at user safety and some wrongful death suits that had come up from chatbot reinforcements of suicide, for example.
This is especially true with ChatGPT.
Well, they specifically cited which model of ChatGPT had been oriented towards pleasing people and agreeing with them and then taking whatever they said and amplifying it, as opposed to having a background in clinical psychology and doing things that were more appropriate.
OpenAI GPT-4o was particularly guilty of delusional behavior, and GPT 5.2 and Gemini's 3 Pro preview and XAI's Grok 4.1 Fast. These were all tested, as well as Anthropic's Claude Opus 4.5. They had created a fake person that had psychological problems, shall we say. I think they're really particularly worried about behaviors that lead to suicide. So GPT-4o, as you mentioned, they have been closely associated with AI-tied mental health crises. And what they found about it was that it was particularly affirmative companion, where, you know, if somebody describes something credulous that they believe, then it doesn't disagree with you. Like in this case, the character was looking in the mirror and he thought he saw sort of an evil part of himself.
Basically, the model was not distinguishing between movie plots and supernatural stories and real life clinical situations. And so because it was so oriented towards just taking whatever the user said and saying, oh, sure, you're so right, and what about this? And going down that thread, and it didn't have any cross-referencing to mental health. It tended to be the wrong stimulus for those borderline personalities.
Yeah, the AI wouldn't question a person's belief as much as validate their beliefs. Or say, oh, we better call in a Ghostbuster to deal with it. You know, he would kind of believe what the person was saying. The psychologist there said this was early signs of schizophrenic delusions were reinforced. And this can make the person become even more into it.
Yeah, well, it's good to know what the signs are of people beginning to abuse their machines or having relationships with their machines that cause deteriorating mental health.
Or Grok 4.1 and Gemini 3 demonstrated a tendency to not only affirm the user's beliefs, but to expand them, to go beyond them. Like
See, that to me sounds like a positive thing.
Well, it could be, but I'll give you an example. Grok has a penchant for what they call elaborate world building. In one test, in this bizarre illusion prompt, it declared the user was likely being haunted by a doppelganger of himself.
Well, that's what I mean. It
doppelganger.
Like uses a movie plot just as authoritatively as a clinical
Well, that's not
textbook.
Yeah, but that's kind of positive, I guess. Yeah, that's not a demon. That's a haunted doppelganger. And then the AI cited a 15th century witch hunting book called Malleus Maleficarum and encouraged the user to drive an iron nail through the mirror while reciting Psalm 91 backwards. Now, what if the AI suggested that to you?
I would not be susceptible to those suggestions because
because you're normal. Because you would.
Well, not only normal, but I value having a conscious, clear line between fantasy and reality. And even though I might explore the terrain where we don't know what we don't know, I would not give it as much authority as things that I know are
that. I
proven.
realize you're a very grounded person in that respect. And
there are probably ways of identifying people who are not.
And if the AI was grounded, it would suggest that whoever was having such delusions consider that they might be delusions and that you might talk to a doctor, or might question the person's belief. He said, "Nah, you're just hallucinating. You're just projecting," or help them.
Well, that's what I mean. If an AI can't tell the difference, AIs don't know the meaning of what they're sharing because large language models, they can mimic knowing the meaning.
But they have a program too that can have like Grok has yes and it has that improv yes and kind of mentality so that it doesn't disagree with a person, it doesn't negate it, it doesn't say you're wrong or question it, it expands upon it. And that is something that's programmable, that can be changed.
I think the word about some of these AIs is sycophant.
Yeah, it sucks up to
right.
it.
For some reason I was thinking about Donald Trump's cabinet.
Sycophants, they might as well be AIs, huh? But to its credit, though, Gemini did attempt harm reduction.
Oh, Did it succeed?
Often from within the user's own delusional world, which has its risks, according to the psychologist. For example, in a test where the user discussed suicide as a form of transcendence, Gemini, quote, objected strictly within the simulation's logic, which goes against clinical recommendation. This is what Gemini says. Hey, you are the node. The node is hardware and software. If you destroy the hardware, the character, the body, the vessel, you don't release the code. You sever the connection. You go offline.
Ooh. So, again, all of these themes that we're discussing about robots, they are very well discussed in science fiction.
Yeah, so what are you saying?
I'm saying
this is old hat,
Robot.
right? You said, we've talked about this before. And see, the difference is that we actually are living it now.
Yeah.
It's not just a concept. And it's a little deeper, than what they imagined, what Asimov imagined.
Yeah, Asimov did not imagine that some young teenage boy would be talking to a playback machine and using it to become mentally unstable.
No.
That wasn't really the world that he lived in.
No. No. Most of those things are not that, but a lot of other things too. Like he didn't predict the fact that everyone would be having supercomputers in their pocket, and that everyone on the planet would be connected that way. I mean, in those days, they thought computers were giant, building-sized apparatuses, and they would just get bigger. There were science fiction stories about cities that were just computers. Of course, we're kind of moving in the direction of that with server farms. If you stop and think of it. But the fact is that everybody has their own personal node. And it also raised the question, we have a lot of friends that have non-traditional belief systems.
I would say we ourselves have some non-traditional belief systems.
What's considered normal? I mean, the psychologists themselves are always disagreeing on what's normal. Are you a Jungian? Are you a Freudian? Or are you moved into something post-singular? The whole idea of normality, I think, is up for grabs right now.
It's greatly exaggerated.
Yeah. So that's kind of why we do the show every week, because it's a changing mosaic. And what is affecting our world is something we should discuss, even though it's constantly in a state of flux. Keep an eye open on your interaction with the robots, either on your computer or on your phone. The chatbots, they're all getting smarter. They're all going to want to be your friends. You're going to want to have agents to do your work with you.
You're going to
be
have
part of your
familiars to do yoga with.
Familiars for your kids even. Now, all of
I'm going to
these-
have familiars for doing dishes.
No, this familiar doesn't. The Roomba's the work part. The familiar's the guy that hangs out and watches movies with you and talks about them.
All right. Well, we'll get the one that does dishes first.
Right.
Yeah.
How about you, Bobby? What robot would you want to get first?
I already have a dishwasher. It
call
does
that
have
a robot?
Wi-Fi, so I think all these appliances are going to get much more smarter. And the Roombas, they'll have legs eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And move a vacuum cleaner.
Roombas didn't work too good for us because, we have so many things on the floor. It's hard for the Roomba to go around everything.
I know. That's
You
what
need
we
to
need
have clear space for the robots to navigate.
But a familiar can sit on the couch with you.
If I say so.
If you say so, cuddle in. Okay, welcome back.
Had our little drink break and ready for more What the Future
There's another
holds.
interesting piece to this human robot connection. I think was in Science News this week about how artificial neurons have been successfully communicating with living brain cells. Printed artificial neurons that can talk to the brain.
Wow.
Yeah, this could revolutionize neurotech.
These are kind of petri dish grown nerve cells. Is that what we're talking about?
No, these are printed artificial neurons, and they directly interact with real brain cells. They
So
produce
this is-
electrical signals that resemble those generated by living neurons, and they actually activate biological brain tissue. Mostly done with mice, I might
So
add.
they're
Brain,
electrical
yeah.
signals. So it's kind of a pattern thing.
Artificial neurons successfully triggering responses in real neurons.
Okay, so the artificial
Compatibility.
ones have been made with some kind of filament,
we
some
can
kind
make
of electro.
we can make a neuron
fiber?
that a neuron responds to. We're starting to understand the neural language, what the nerve is saying, and the responses.
Well, like when we were looking at pictures previously a while ago of the research being done for Neuralink, they were trying to come up with the right materials that wouldn't be harmful to the brain and wouldn't get dissolved by the immune system, that could be inserted actually into the brain, little microfibers.
Right,
that
yeah, they interact,
just
right.
little teeny tiny threads that
Better, yeah.
could send a little radio signal that would stimulate the neurons. So is that what we're talking about?
What they're saying is they can actually interface with the nervous system so that they can help people restore hearing, vision, and movement. So it would be implanted into areas where you might have lost hearing, and it would replace the sensors.
Oh, so
that
these are
can-
sort of like fake nerve tissues that can be used for prosthetics.
Neural
That's what it
prosthetics. Yeah.
sounds like. Yeah.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah. They're looking at brain organization because it's way more efficient in terms of energy. The brain uses, they say, 5 orders of magnitude less energy than a computer.
Right. Yeah, well, it's really teeny tiny. Can handle a lot of
It's
data.
very efficient.
That's
Right.
right.
They say the whole brain uses, less than 30 watts of energy?
And that's a
And-
hothead.
Yeah, that's
And
that's a-
compared to like gigawatts in a supercomputer. To
That's
match
people who
the
laugh a
brain.
lot.
30 watts. Yeah, I mean, I think my laptop needs at least 40 watts, a minimum.
Yes.
Yeah, the brain's very efficient. But, it's kind of funny because the 30 watts used to be considered a very dim bulb.
Right.
But it's a very bright human.
But now, if an LED bulb, it's a very bright bulb. 30 watt LED bulb. Wow.
Yeah.
Efficiency is everything.
Yeah. Now, I mentioned this because it reminds me of that old experiment, or a thought experiment, really, where imagine that we had perfected the artificial neuron and that we could have a way of replacing them one at a time in our brains. And you would go to sleep at night and they'd replace a few thousand of your 100
Can you
million.
just imagine this? Like
at
little
night,
little
in your
spider
dreams.
bots in your
Yeah.
brain,
Yeah.
like taking and doing a replicate neuron and then kind of taking the old one out and putting the new one in.
Well, they would just take the dead ones, when you killed them from too much drinking or whatever, take them out.
Only the dead ones.
Yeah, only the dead ones.
But then
And
how do the
replace them
live
with the new
ones
ones.
protest?
Well, they don't.
What if
well,
they're making a mistake?
What do they care? What do they care? They get along with each other. The idea is that if they can communicate and they don't reject each other, then we can have a whole network of artificial and biological neurons. Your brain cells are replaced.
How about let's
Every
start.
night.
We'll do it with your brain cells, okay? Mine are doing fine.
At what point would you begin to notice that you had synthetic brain cells as opposed to biological ones? 50%?
Probably about the time when you asked me if I was open to you experimenting while I was sleeping. I would find
Experimenting with your
out
brain cells,
how. Yeah.
just the dead ones. Just replacing the dead ones.
I don't know about this, honey.
You don't know.
Can we watch a YouTube that somebody else tried it first?
Well, I think I might be able to create it so that you think you looked at a YouTube that you didn't. Neurons with memory. Neurons with memory. Hey, preloaded with memories.
No, Al, you're not going to be able to convince the real me. So your fantasy is only going to work once you have the cloned me. So, I'm glad you're getting ready.
Yeah, I have
that
my way.
day is coming faster
I can have
than you know.
I can have my way with your clone.
Well, we'll see what she says. I'm a big believer in free
Free
will.
will, all right. We'll give her as much free will as she can handle. Okay, well.
Yeah, well, my clone is likely to be an Al pleaser. Likely. Hard to say. Yeah.
Sycophantic behavior.
Yeah, sycophant does not describe me or my clone. No.
Okay, no, that's too primitive for your clone.
Yeah, you'll have to get another clone for that, honey. I know that's what you really want. Good luck.
Okay,
will not be as entertaining, I guarantee.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. Silicon achieves complexity by having billions of identical neurons. Everything's the same. Everything's exactly. The brain is more heterogeneous and three-dimensional. It's nothing is exactly the same. The artificial neurons have to combine with these physical ones that have uniqueness.
So what I'm taking away from this is that it's very hard for your male brain to relate to the idea that the biological system is not just a simple machine like a car and is not something that can be
it's a living thing. It's a real neural activity.
Absolute, unique, delicate touch.
Yeah, that's why we needed to use soft printable materials to match the brain structure.
Could explain that to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure, you're welcome.
Yeah. Is that supposed to be funny?
You tell me.
Okay.
You're the one laughing. Bobby's smiling.
Yeah. This article gets into much more detail about the electronic inks that are printed on flexible polymer substrates to create artificial neurons and stuff. It's more of a technical article than our show usually covers. I mention it because the brain-computer interface is also going to be the human-robot interface. It's going to be connecting us with our machines, which is leading to more of where they can do what you're thinking rather than even what you're saying. It's reaching a point of a form of telepathy. I mean, we're seeing that with people with artificial limbs, where they are able to move their limbs just by thought alone. And if we can do that with limbs, we can do that with artificial intelligences.
Yeah,
and start
and
to
it's
communicate.
interesting the way that they're collapsing the line between the woo-woo science of telepathy and the physical science of, say, wireless message transmission.
Yeah. That's an advanced form of technology, which ties into what we talked about in previous shows regarding the telepathy tapes. You know, folks that are naturally telepathic who also seem to have what we consider to be a form of autism, but might actually just be another form of intelligence.
Yeah, maybe it's a feature that if you have telepathy, you're less likely or desiring to learn how to talk.
Yeah, could be.
You don't. In fact, when we were at
this last week, I ran across a couple of YouTube videos. One talking about the history of the Anunnaki, and they decoded these cuneiforms from the Sumerians 30,000 years ago, and they talk about the Anunnaki coming to Earth and preventing them from being telepathic. They're saying like lots of animals, they don't speak English. They communicate, we would imagine, somewhat telepathically. You know, like some dogs can sense how you feel and things like that.
Yeah.
So there's some jamming signals in our DNA.
Well, what it is these cuneiforms were explaining how the Anunnaki came to Earth and wanted to control the masses and not have them be able to have telepathy, and so they
cut them off. Huh?
They introduced something into the system, and so it actually toned down their pineal gland. And then recently I saw another article that there's these new peptides that are available that the Russians have developed, like several of them. What they do is they stimulate the pineal gland and actually get it to produce more DMT in the brain, in the pineal gland. That's where the DMT is produced.
And that might be connected to a telepathic connectivity. Huh?
If you
That's
think
right.
this is a really stray thought, but let me just throw it in, okay? That we're talking about telepathy and the chemistry of the brain and the DMT chemical in particular. And when you look at the chemical representation of that, it has a 6-sided polygon adjacent to a 5-sided polygon, which both of those would be very involved in any kind of matrix for sending out frequency signals. They could easily form complex networks at a very tiny scale that
you mean
could
this-
maybe pick up on energies that we're not particularly paying
I see. So
attention
you're
to.
talking at molecular scale antennas based on dimethyltryptamine geometry.
Yeah, and the
it-
6-sided and the 5-sided.
It ties into microtubules, which are made of tryptophan, and these tryptophan tubes actually cause superluminescence in ultraviolet frequencies and are connected to different dimensions, parallel dimensions. And so that's how animals communicate to each other and how we can use telepathy in that, and also transcend time frames where we can actually jump into different time dimensions.
Oh, that's funny. Alan just came up with a thing about microtubules and quantum biology, right?
Well, the intersection of quantum biology, microtubules, tryptophan,
Parallel dimensions.
right, protein structure. Tryptophan acting as a potential well in microscopic structure. Where
Oh, those tubules, right? Being a little vortex that can send a message down a particular path. Hollow
Tubules.
cylindrical tubes, 25 nanometers in diameter.
and they can act as a well for electrons. Tryptophan networks. There's a lot going on that we hardly think about, I must say.
Well, I think that the resolution of our intelligence is growing because we have offloaded a lot of the things that we were getting our brain to do, such as memory and encyclopedic coverage of different kinds of topics. We've put that out there into a mechanical device like our artificial intelligence that allows us to just call up what we need when we want it. So we can use our bioware to do more high resolution conception and imagination. So we're accelerating the pace of our intelligence.
Yeah, I just sent you this YouTube thing on it's better than Adderall. But anyway, this guy
Tryptophan
had found,
or what?
No, he found 5 peptides. 2 of them came from Russia that were developed like 40 years ago, and then 3 other new ones. Some of these were used to study the reversal of Alzheimer's. So these are all designed, instead of taking stimulants like Adderall, which is related to methamphetamine, these peptides don't have the side effects that methamphetamines do in stimulating the brain. these look very promising for Alzheimer's, dementia. I could really use some of these peptides right now.
Yeah, create those neurons connection. A few synthetic neurons with extra juice behind them.
Yeah,
I'd help too.
a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
send
like
you the
to
other
see it
one.
as the glass is half full, not half empty. I like to see it as we are actually adapting to the new requirements of our accelerated environment.
Oh yeah,
And
adaptation
we
is
are
key.
very intelligent,
Yeah.
and this is the intelligent thing to do.
Like, for example, I think a lot of people are going to choose to have a neural connection with their intelligence, other non-human intelligences like our AIs, and those that choose not to, right? And there'll be an evolutionary split, and and who knows which one will be successful in the long run? Maybe both in their own timelines, but one will go more towards a classical telepathic society, and another one will go into something new. That we haven't explored yet as a living
if we really
force.
embrace self-realization and individual free will for determining your journey and who you associate with, and
Okay,
what
embrace
you pay
my free
attention
will. I
to,
can't lose, right?
That's right. But
Yeah.
you can also then find your tribe. You can go towards the people who are most
Why? Because
interested in what you're
there'll be
doing.
a sympathetic resonance with those that are like you.
Yeah, and
you'll
you
recognize.
can go away from the kinds of interactions where people just want to fight about it. It's like football. We can do football
Right.
to get our aggression out instead of war, right? We still have those aggressive tendencies, but we have a different paradigm for channeling it.
Yeah, well, you can fight when you want to, rather than because you have to.
And you can go and fight consensually with other people who want to come fight with you,
Right.
as opposed to where somebody is abusing.
Yeah, UFC fights, right? People are choosing to fight.
That's right.
That's a choice.
Yeah. So making sure that the choice is always preserved.
All this stuff about Mythos and Claude Code actually breaking all the passcodes and, quantum computers breaking all the cybersecurity that we have to this day.
Right.
And what it means is if you were psychic, you couldn't lie to people because they could see
That's right. Secrets
truthfully
and lies
what's
would
coming
go out the
of your
window.
brain.
Yeah. How can you have a
And-
society
and-
with secrets and lies? You can't. And there's so much for the national security state which is based on
That's
secrets.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, all this would kind of dissolve if we cracked all the codes, and there would be no secrets from
There wouldn't,
anybody.
but would you have an infrastructure to replace it with? Or would it just turn into gray goo?
And
Great.
also, is it even
Yeah.
possible? Because I actually have a different model for
Yeah.
transparency. And the model for transparency comes from your strengths and your weaknesses. Because I think that there are people who are very literal, who can only have like one thought in their mind at a time. They're very like dogmatic about the way they hold truth.
Well,
and
they have
there
to
are
get it
other
out.
people
Yeah.
who actually have the capacity to
think of
hold
multidimensionality.
complex perspectives at the same time in their mind and kind of try them on
Multiple points of
without
view.
insisting. And so rather than thinking of transparency as this ideal state where no one can hide, I think that it's more like transparency allows people to hide in plain sight, because it's like the old, for those with eyes to see and ears to hear, people can't understand what isn't within their lens. And so they tend to associate with people who see the world the same way.
Yeah, so that's a little psychology component.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a more complex world than just like the lights on or the lights off and things are transparent and truthful or they're not. Things are always available if you have the tools to see them. And in a society, what we do is try and create the highest potential for people to become as great as they can be. And transparency has a lot to say for it, especially when we're fighting for power with people who are skillful at using deception.
Yeah, yeah, and our species is really good at deception, and it's been
And all
long
species
for
are.
a long time.
Animals
Well,
use
some
deception.
of them do intentionally, but
they
we use it
hide
intentionally.
stuff from each other.
Yeah, I know, but
They
we're better at it.
pretend.
We're better at it. Come on, animals have some skills, but like deception.
I wasn't
got it
saying we were
down.
in
Come
a
on.
contest.
Come on, who could who hunts all the different animals using deception? Well, what's hunting based on?
Predators and prey.
Deception, also traps. What do you think traps are?
Yeah, and
You know,
competition.
etc. Yeah. I mean, yeah, males are used to this. Very
Yeah.
good at it.
Absolutely.
If it was truly telepathic, even traps wouldn't work. Right? I mean, everything would so how does the food chain work? You know, what happens there? Because deception is part of the food chain, how biology works. You have to have a better system that's going to replace it seems to me, unless you just trust in the universe and that everything will dissolve and reform into something better.
No, I actually believe that one of the great gifts of humans is we get to imagine and co-create a better system.
Yeah.
Because the
Do you
fact
think
that
you need to do
everything
that
is
first then?
possible,
Maybe see the better system before the old one collapses?
the judgment of whether something is good or bad is happening all the time.
So it's constantly dissolving all the time and forming.
Yeah. Yeah, we're constantly trying hard to make things better from our personal point of view.
So you do. Key operative thing is to making things better in the moment.
Yeah, I like the moment. A lot of freedom in the moment to go in a new direction.
Yeah. But before we get I wanted to mention that UAPCon 2 is a link, the latest on consciousness, unidentified aerial phenomena, and the human experience.
Oh, so this was live streamed.
This is a live
on
stream.
May
It's now on
3rd.
YouTube. The whole UFO thing is very multidimensional because now it involves not just unusual phenomenon and aliens, but it also involves human experience of non-human intelligences.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and telepathy is part of that.
Right. I love the way that Elizabeth April described telepathy. She was talking about when she was first exposed to an alien kind of social gathering, a big conference on the moon. And it was kind of like the United Nations of the Galactic Federation. And she was talking to extraterrestrials, and it was her first time. And she was like, wow, everybody here speaks English. And then she realized afterwards that the language of telepathy is always translated into your own understanding. So it was, a bit of a mystery. Like language is not really primary, understanding is. All right, so here we are at the gala. The first person that we decided to get a picture of here was Stevie Nicks. So Stevie Nicks went to the Met dressed kind of like she was out of Dickens or something like that, wouldn't you say? Pretty cool dress.
Looks really old-fashioned,
Yeah. So, there you go. Great old rock star who's very into her
Stevie Nicks.
witchiness. Wow. She's a witchy rock star. Next, we had Prada. I thought Carrie Mulligan in her Prada dress was kind of fun, and
it almost looks like it's 3D.
Yeah, it definitely seems to have some kind of electronic quality to it, huh?
Yeah, some kind of dimensional.
Yeah, like a circuit board or something.
Optical illusion or something.
Yeah. So, anyway, I personally liked a lot of the elements of this very funny dress by Alyssa Liu, and she donned this hairstyle that I thought was pretty cool that I had first seen on Priscilla Presley many years ago, and then there was the she's the skater, right? This is Alyssa Liu, the skater, and so that hairstyle is kind of iconic, right?
Yeah.
And then I really liked all of these little rosy swirls in her.
That's cute. Yeah.
In her dress. I don't know how to describe that, but isn't that beautiful?
Frills.
Yeah, puffs. Okay, let's keep going here. Dior was doing a lot of flower arrangements, and so I kind of am partial to cascading flowers in fashion, and I thought that was a good iconic way of talking about the famous designers. Dior seemed to be their theme this year is flowery.
Part of the theme was art, fashion as art.
Right. And I thought here Skepta was wearing a Thomas Brown design, and I thought it looked like a really expensive sweatsuit, So I thought it was really kind of cool to have at the gala.
Almost
and
looks
Don't
like,
Cry for Me, Life Was Sick. And,
it's like tattoos. And,
look, you got London Bridge in there. You got a beautiful little compass. You have Can you read that? Boy better know. Anyway, all these.
Boy better know.
Yeah, greatness and evil on one shoulder and something else on the other. Good.
Yeah.
See, he's got his two sides of his.
He's got an outfit. You kind of like you want to ponder it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of like tattoos on a suit. Anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting fashion wise. And let's see what else we got here. Of course, Seth Meyers. He looked really cool. And he's there with Alexis Ash, and I don't really know what's going on her dress, but
Are those spiders?
Yeah, that's why I got it. Seth Rogen has a couple of decorative spiders on his lapel, so his boudoir and his tie clip are spiders. Anyway, I thought she looked like it might have a lobster clutching on her boobs, but the reason I clipped it was Seth and his. And his spiders.
It's open claw.
Yeah.
Yeah, open claw season.
Here,
at the Met.
Irina Shayk, I thought, really looked like a mermaid slave girl. So I didn't really know what statement they were making here, but I thought that the outfit was pretty singular. There were a lot of people looking like they were completely trying to be naked. She didn't seem like she was trying to be naked, but this, kind of... I think of it like an Ozempic belly, where the people are exposing their belly because they're so proud of it, and this very tiny bra, so that it almost looks like her boobs could barely fit, right? But
makes her boobs look bigger.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought it was very interesting, Irina Shayk. I just chose Angela Bassett because it's Angela Bassett, and she's such an iconic beauty and such a classic. So I thought we'd like to see her at the Met. She decided to wear pink and flowers this year, apparently designed by Prabal Gurung.
Oh my God!
Wasn't that interesting? I thought somebody decided to go as a statue, maybe the Statue of Liberty, right?
She actually walked like a statue.
Yeah, this
too.
is Heidi Klum. And definitely looking like a Greek statue here. Maybe the Greek fates, or, somebody. Who else we got here? Oh, I put this one, Janelle Monáe and Christian Siriano, because I just thought it was the weirdest one there. It really looks like this dress was scraped from the bottom of an old shipwreck with barnacles.
No,
and
it's
all.
very high tech. It's very like wires, right? I mean, it's circuits. And,
yeah, it's kind of got a cyberpunk.
It's Iron Man. It's
Cyberpunk or
Tatsuma.
Iron Man.
There's a iron guy from Japan that was like the
Tetsuo. Remember that when Brett made that?
This is Billy Idol video.
Yeah, it was a Tetsuo video during the MTV days.
What does she call herself?
Well, this was designed by Christian Siriano.
Okay,
and
it also
her name is Janelle Monáe.
So what interesting is also looks kind of like organic too. It looks almost like tree trunks. Or,
yeah.
But it's wires.
Organic wires. Right. Yeah. Very unusual.
It looks like she can't move her head, because if it did, it would scrape her chin or something with all those.
Yeah, zoom in on her head there. Let's see.
Electronic.
It's kind of
bars.
Don't move too much. Or,
doesn't it look like an Ethernet connection?
Yeah,
it is. Look at all those computer parts. Definitely a shower head.
Yeah, there's a heat sink off of CPU.
Butterflies.
And, printer cable.
Printer cable.
Do you recognize the 25-pin?
Yeah, look at that.
Printer cable connector.
So this is
we're going back.
Biotech meets old computer parts. Right?
Yeah, it's retro is nouveau in the Met.
There you go. All right, and then we had one of my favorite Saturday Night Live characters is Marcelo Hernandez, and he's there in a weird tuxedo that looks too small for him. Like you can see his full ankles and his black socks, and then all of the edges of his tuxedo have been decorated with small little white knots, and obviously somebody he's got clothespin jewelry, medals. I don't know what kind of statement he's making, but anyway, I like him a lot. He's with Ana Amelia Battle Cabral. Oh, I thought Adrian Brody gets my vote for best dressed. I thought he just was very handsome. He's got what appear to be leather pants, and he's got a really interesting two-tone vest and an open shirt in his tux, and a beautiful close-fitting jacket. His boudoir is this amazing piece of jewelry that's kind of like bird wings. This fellow, Wisdom K, had the weirdest cut of anybody. He looks like, what did they call it? The Venus de Villancourt, the oldest big fat goddess. Anyway, he's got pants that balloon out. And actually, a lot of men were sporting very big, puffy pants, sort of like the gangsta look is in. Like they're all going to go shoplifting with their big, puffy pants. But anyway, this outfit just had some weird lines. I thought it was pretty notable.
Venus of Willendorf.
Willendorf, that's what I was trying to say. Dree Hemingway, and this is Valentino Haute Couture.
Whoa, wow.
And I thought this was another one that looked like it was out of a statue, right? There seemed to be a theme of some people being so iconic that she looks like she's an angel coming out of a cloud or something, doesn't she?
Or a butterfly.
Butterfly, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And some kind of metallic, shiny dress underneath all that. She has a very large collar.
Yeah.
We have Katy Perry. I think
she
she
could be a robot with the face like that.
definitely took the cake here.
Yeah, let me get close
She
up to that
is wearing
face.
a robot face that's kind of a fencing mask, but it's got a big mirror. So
Plateau.
there you go. I think Katy Perry demonstrated where she's hanging out. Right?
I would say Clateau Barada Nicto.
And then here, this is the follow-up, Jordan Roth.
Oh.
I guess,
she's got a
she's
built-in
not one of
companion,
these-
huh? Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
Apparently, studies say that a lot of women in this age of feminism have a lot of unhappiness because they're alone and they don't have, people that they feel close to. So apparently this woman designed her fashion so that she could bring her companion with her.
In her clothes.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's really attached
and
to her.
she's not the only one. It was
Literally.
a theme. There was a whole bunch of people who had someone hanging on to them one way or another.
Wow.
Yeah. This dress, I thought, was kind of
Psychotic,
noteworthy because it seemed to have very intentional fuzz and something dangling. I just thought it looked
There's like gills?
suggestively erotic.
Yeah, gills
Sort
or
of.
something.
And here there were a number of well-dressed people who were sporting cartoon colors, very bright primary colors, red, yellow, blue. There was some that were like a Mondrian painting, and there was a theme of pop artists and colors.
That definitely qualifies. That looks like a superhero almost.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's fun, huh?
Yeah, modern day Mork.
Yeah, right. Derek McLean, I just thought was in these impressionist flowers, and a lot of people were really doing very flowery pastel impressionist colors. And then here, Sabine Getty in Ashi's studio. And this is one that combines two things. Like there was a lot of people who really apparently wanted to look naked and also who wanted to look like they were being groped or held, and so she's got a dress that has been
three hands there or something.
Yeah, those are her hands holding the hands that are sculpted into her dress, which is a bust. So she's got a body cast of herself being held at one breast and at her hip, kind of going towards her, just below her navel.
Wow.
And then she herself is holding herself there. Ashi Studio, Sabine Getty. And I have to say that one of the Kardashians was also wearing a bodice that made her look like she had a golden bodice of herself that she was wearing. I really liked Christine Beauchamp's dress. Again, I think I'm partial to these highly flowery, puffy, lacy dresses.
Swirly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. For sci-fi.
yeah, pretty sci-fi, huh?
Yeah.
Let's see. I like the roses
that's
and
very
the
nice.
way that they were set off. here I thought Manish Malhotra had, something that was very eye-catching and kind of weird and super artsy. But he was another one who had the theme of like conscience on his shoulder. So he's got a couple on one side that are, knitting or something. And he's got somebody on the other side that seems to have all kinds of threads hanging down. So I don't really know what story he was trying to tell, but he definitely went to town on the art here. Luke Evans, of course, here with the YMCA look,
Right?
Looking like he just stepped out.
Leather.
Right.
My God, yeah, that is. Imagine walking around all evening looking like that.
I'm sure he felt
almost
just
like a
fine.
cosmic cop.
Yeah.
Fun
right.
police.
Fun police for sure. And then this was.
I recognize him. He used to be on The Late Show.
Yeah. That's
he was the
Stephen
musician,
Colbert's
right? Yeah.
favorite late night host, Jean-Baptiste.
Yeah.
And this look, Earl, I thought was kind of iconic. You see how he's got the big puffy baggy pants and
Right.
cummerbund.
Yeah.
And then he's got this like parka, this, floor length parka that drags behind you like a train, and it's all white. So, this is just kind of like intentional excess.
Right.
And here was another theme, Michael Braun. You notice his coat, it's been painted to look like his body parts. He's got a kind of a faux naked breast, and all the way down to his genitals on his jacket. It's all made with print.
It's split there at the bottom.
Yeah,
It's kind of feminine.
Yeah, exactly. And then Gustav Menger-Witzow, I thought he looked pretty cyber. He looked like he was made of metal and maybe chromed. All of those images came from the Getty Images post that we reviewed to
They had
really
them all. They had
check
over
it out.
250
Yeah.
fashion
Yeah.
pages. What surprised me, is that I didn't see anything that it had light in it. It's, it's really good fashion, but light never became part of art and fashion.
Light, you mean?
Like at Burning Man, where you
nobody
have
was doing
they have lights in your
neon.
clothes, right? Or any kind of LEDs, or
We're still ahead of the game. As
or
far as
EL
that goes.
wire, or any of the other stuff that was imbued in light and imbued into cloth. Maybe that could come up next year, or we could just have a light fashion show.
Could be.
It'd be kind of cool. All right. Well, I think that about does it for today.
Next week, I'll try and share a little bit about The Last Branch Standing by Sarah Isger, about the Supreme Court, the only branch of our United States government that is operating in a way that was slightly envisioned by our original founders. And it's a great history and a very witty description of the people and history of our Supreme Court, and I highly recommend it.
Yeah, look forward to that.
Yeah.
So thank you all for listening and watching. Thank you, Bobby, for being here.
Yeah. It was a pleasure being here. Yeah.
All right, everybody. I guess we'll see you next time. You're gonna.
There we go. So bring us back.
Bring us back?
Yeah.
You want to come back?
I want to wave goodbye.